finds this aggressive young company forging ahead with revolutionary developments, which are already advanced to a stage that assures continued leadership. Emerging from years of intensive research and experimentation are a bright array of airborne vehicles exemplified by the X-1A, world's fastest and highest rocket plane, the VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, the convertiplane, combining the characteristics of the helicopter with the propeller-driven fixed-wing airplanes, and guided missiles for the defense of our shores against enemy attack. All these stem from humble beginnings back in 1935, when the dreams of a forceful aviation pioneer began to crystallize. Larry Bell was a visionary who sensed the growing need for air power well before the United States entered visionary new warplane. This was the YFM Aerocuda. Announced by the Army's twin-engine, multi-place fighter, a plane with a purpose. Although ahead of its time in general concept, the plane reached only modest production. But the Air Force, seeking a single-place fighter plane with heavy firepower, liked the thinking that went into the Aerocuda, and Bell moved ahead to bring forth the famed P-39 Aerocobra, the ship that won world renown as the cannon on wings. War in Europe was well underway when the first Aerocobra made its appearance. The deadly little fighter was a plane Its engine was placed behind the pilot, and the plane was the first high-speed fighter equipped with tricycle landing gear, later to become standard on many aircraft. This new landing gear proved to be highly efficient under the trying conditions of wartime air bases. Its added stability prevented many mishaps during all-weather ground handling. Spurred by the world conflict, Bell started a large-scale production program. Important in this activity itself for quantity production. It had been conceived as a series of assemblies and sub-assemblies, which fitted together to make ever larger units. By the winter of 1941, production had progressed to the point where it became necessary. Were moved into the plant and the first assembly line was set up. Bell was now equipped to turn out fighter planes at a rate never before attempted. This growing wave of production, air power among the free nations. Pearl Harbor found our own Air Force making use of these airplanes. The first Aerocobra fighter squadrons had already been formed and were undergoing strenuous training in the use of the high speeds and large caliber armament of this powerful new weapon. With America's entry into the war, requirements were met and exceeded. Never before were airplanes built on so large a scale, a 7 decades of manufacture. A wide variety of employee services helped maintain high morale among the workers. Camp Bell, operated jointly by Bell Aircraft and the Air Force's Technical Command, graduated 7,432 soldier mechanics skilled in every phase of Aerocobra maintenance. These were the men who would service the airplanes in the field, and Bell spared no effort in preparing them for future duties. Exactly 1 year after Pearl Harbor, a new airplane designed by Bell engineers had been ground tested and flown for the first time. This was the P-63 King Cobra, a high-altitude, high-performance fighter. With a more powerful engine than the P-39, the King Cobra was a more potent all-around plane than its predecessor. In April 1943, to over 60 per month, more than the 40 per month originally estimated. The first Bell-built superfortress, named the Georgia Peach, took part in the original B-29 raid over Tokyo. Others followed by the hundreds, and by the end of the war, Bell had manufactured and delivered a total of 663 B-29s. This was an average of over one a day from the time of the Vermont became the site of another Bell facility because of the increasing growth of the Ordnance Division and critical manpower situation in the Buffalo area. Here were turned out the specialized gun mounts that became standard equipment on nearly all the important light, medium, and heavy bombers built in America. These were the guns which protected our bombers in raids over enemy territory. As a training device for aerial gunners, Bell conceived the plan of modifying the P-63, adding armor plate to the plane so that it could be used for target practice by aerial gunners. An electronic system caused the nose to light up when hits were scored by frangible bullets used in target practice. This characteristic soon earned the P-63 target plane the label of pinball. A computing device within the plane accurately registered every hit scored, and the lighted nose appraised the gunner of his success. The flying pinball served well in bringing Air Force gunners to a high degree of accuracy in defending America's bombers during their far-flung missions. In 1942, another deeply significant development was in progress. Bell was building the first American jet-powered airplane, the Era Comet. The Era Comets were used for pioneer training in the Allied nations' overall jet propulsion program. In tribute to its development, the first P-59 stands enshrined in the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. Bell continued its pioneering work in the field of jet propulsion with a powerful new fighter, the X-83. This high-speed, high-altitude airplane was designed to bring to jet propulsion the long range essential to modern fighter aircraft. Meanwhile, other experimental work continued. To meet the threat of a possible metal shortage, an all-plywood high-speed airplane, the XP-77, was built, the only single-place fighter built of wood which could withstand the terrific punishment of combat flying. Radio control systems were also part of the research and development. For the first time in aviation history, it was possible by remote radio control to take off and land a full-size military airplane from standard airport runways. These experiments were among the forerunners leading to the company's current major status in the guided missile field. In the early 40s, copter, with its remarkable maneuverability, comes close to answering this demand. It has distinguished itself in a wide variety of tasks, such as crop dusting, oil exploration, survey, power line patrol, and others. Moreover, the versatile craft proved conclusively in the Korean fighting that it is an indispensable adjunct to military operations. Forward thinking in aircraft design was rewarded by an Air Force contract, which was to make history. Specifications called for a rocket plane that would pierce the theoretical sound barrier. The answer to this was the Bell X-1. On October 14, probably the most famous of the Bell Special Research aircraft is the X-1A, holder of the current world records for both speed and altitude. Larger and faster than its predecessor, the X-1A 1.5 times the speed of sound. Later, Major Arthur Murray, another Air Force pilot, took the X-1A to a new altitude record of more than 90,000 feet. A revolutionary Bell development that weds the elements of high speed and vertical operation is now in. For the United States Navy, Bell Aircraft Corporation has developed the automatic carrier landing system, a long sought-after method for landing airplanes safely aboard aircraft carriers under all weather conditions. A combination of radio and radar, this unit has successfully completed hundreds of tests for the Navy and may be the answer to weather problems encountered by other military and civilian aircraft operators. It is your story, you who have served so well and faithfully over the past 20 years. First and foremost is Larry Bell, who in his intense leadership has played many roles and certainly has worn many hats. Aiding and abetting him in bringing the company to its present high place in aviation has been Ray Whitman, first Vice President. And others whose executive participation in Bell's affairs have counted strongly are Walter Yates, member of the original board of directors, and Ainsley Sawyer, general counsel. Contributing greatly to the engineering genius behind so many Bell firsts have been Bob Woods, Chief Design Engineer, who has been at Larry Bell's side since the start, and Jack Strickler, Assistant Vice President in charge of engineering. Every organization can do well with a woman's touch, and Irene B. Hogue, Secretary to Larry Bell, has provided that, deftly and efficiently, through the years. The list is an impressive one. Lefty McEwen, now vitally concerned with the VTOL project. Dick McKee, Assistant Secretary and Manager of Insurance, Real Estate, and Office Services. Davy Marshall, Supervisor of Blueprints. Bert Adams, Rascal Project Group. Bill Bernhardt, Maintenance. Cecil Fallis, Foreman. Julius Ferrand, General Foreman, Metal Preparation. Ken Fry, Service and Training. Tony Geiser, Foreman, Department 51. Ray Peterson, Mechanic, Airport Operations. Arnold Profrock, Assistant Foreman, Tool Room. Jerry Jodine, Assistant Foreman, Wood Shop. Jim Smith, Millwright. May these and all other Bell employees enjoy many more pleasant and rewarding years of association with the Bell Aircraft Corporation.